Alright, I'm just gonna watch this game.
Sí, tenemos idea.
Yo voy a ver la skin de Genji.
So this is a non-English speaking game that someone's told me to help them with, so it'll be interesting.
Javi, cállate, por favor. No acostumbro.
I told him I would listen to comms. I don't know much Spanish at all, but
Yo voy a pillarme a Diva.
lived in Texas for a while, so I can pick up on a little bit of it. But mostly just supposed to like listen to what they're talking about and when they're talking, because this is a team game.
No,
Mirad,
no.
miradme todos.
I'm playing a scrim right now, so
¿Veis las...? ¿Me podéis mirar? Uy,
¿Dónde está? ¿Dónde está?
aquí detrás del punto. ¿Veis las gafas que llevo encima? Ese es el nuevo Vice.
this is a long VOD, so it's actually gonna be super hard to fucking skip.
¿El qué?
Las gafas que llevo encima de la
You
cabeza.
move like a fraction of a centimeter and it pushes you like 30 seconds ahead.
Oye, el área esta se me hace súper rara. O sea, ahora tiene mucho menos.
LOL, ¿estás jugando el nuevo Lucio?
Alright, so this is probably right. When you're playing Pharmacy, you see the hog here. Just stick over to this right wall over here. The rest of your team should be grouped up around this, trying to contest them, but your Pharah should definitely just be poking their backline right now, fucking with them. And then your team should probably just be playing safe, trying to win shield battle.
Tengo de heal.
Yeah, as soon as the hog walks up, like anywhere close, you just need to back the fuck up.
Chicos, recordad que ahora hay que estar muy cerca.
Play safe.
Go, go.
Y Mike, sobre todo, haz
Vaya.
muchos saltos por las paredes y tal.
When you're playing as Mercy here, one thing, I see you have prefer beam target. You'll always jump to this person as long as you have them still beamed. So you can just be looking around at other shit. You just need to keep like a general idea of where they actually are. But you can be like looking at this tree over here for some reason, and you could still just press shift and you'll jump up to him. So yeah, you should just be like scanning the area, because right here you don't really have good vision. You should just be looking like underneath you, because you don't know where the fuck the hog is.
Bueno, Javi.
And just be like looking all around, because you don't need to really maintain vision of him
Go, go, go.
that much. Like right there, like you just need to be looking down to make sure you're not going to get shot at, so you can also juke.
Me congelan, me congelan.
Also looking down to see health bars of your teammates, because if you're not playing Lucio and you have an Ana on your team, you need to actively heal the Ana, so sometimes you do need to drop down to heal her and then drop back up, so be looking down at your teammates, heal them.
What the?
Or you do have a Lucio. I thought you had Ana. Mercy. Regardless, your Lucio can't still heal tanks, so sure you pocket the Pharaoh like a large majority of the time, but you also need to come down to heal your tanks because you're the main tank healer.
Por eso no, pero que llevamos un rato con el rojo.
That's something you can communicate with your team. Be like, alright,
Muy pequeño.
Sí. No,
our Diva's really low, Pharah, play a little bit safer while I go down to heal her and then I'll jump back up to you.
El rango este es obviamente pequeño ahora. Es muy pequeño.
Entrar una vez sin tirar ultis.
a ver.
Pillamos ultis y entramos después.
Como si tuviera.
Right here, you should just be pinging out your ults. Ping out what ults you're close to. It doesn't really matter if people ping ults that they're not close to, because those don't matter. But yeah, the tac visor, be like telling him like, alright, we have tac visor up soon. Let's start to walk in together. You can damage boost him while he's doing that.
El rojo,
Estoy
el
volando, no me
rojo.
pueden disparar.
A la derecha.
Cuando pueda.
Pocket the Pharah for the time being.
Estoy
tiene
ahí.
escudo.
Me estunea, me estunea, me estunea. Vida, 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 vida.
Tengo red.
It's good.
Ahora vamos, 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 vamos.
No, me han dormido y me han puqueado.
¿Cómo te ha...
Whenever your Pharah's going in for the play right there, just tell her, like straight up, just be like, alright, if Pharah's going in, just tell her like, alright, I need a barrier.
Ya sé cómo.
Dos.
Good res.
Muy buena. ¿A uno nos lo hacemos?
Cajo muerto.
Macría uno, Macría uno, Macría uno,
Muerto.
Ana uno.
Cuidado,
Lucio.
no se empuje Lucio.
Bueno.
Me voy volviendo.
Vale, vale.
Nada, pues eso que... Ah, pues que no entiendo cómo...
DPS should be calling out who they want to focus at that moment and like where they are as well.
O sea, que a veces la...
Those really chaotic fights, not everyone knows where everyone is, so you need to be calling it out, be like, alright, Lucio's on the left side,
Nada, está bien.
Hog's walking through mid, something like that.
Yo tengo ulti ya.
¿Están entrando a saco? Puedo ibear ahora.
Pinging out ults right now, seeing what you're close to. Also need to be pressing tab a lot. I tell that to like every Mercy player that I watch. Mercy's just need to be pressing tab like almost all the time.
Coloso asoma al precipicio de atrás. Atrás. No,
Your diva fucked you there. Feels bad.
no, da igual.
¿Qué estaba
Luis,
aquí?
tírate.
You probably would have needed to jump off regardless. Like that was a lost fight. Sometimes you just jump off the edge whenever the fight's done.
¿Estamos ya? Agrupaos que no llega. Vale, ¿ya?
Claro, tampoco a través de las paredes,
¿Por
creo.
dónde? ¿Por aquí?
Por aquí.
Es que tienen mucho problema.
Pero nunca he ido
Cuidado
por
el
las
rojo,
paredes,
derecha.
¡Otra vez! ¡Otra vez!
Bueno, pues nada, aprovechad a cargar ultis y no cargar ultis del enemigo.
So in this situation, you're at 80 towards res. I
Vale.
maybe would have been healing my tanks here because I would have gotten. You definitely would have gotten res if you were sitting there healing your tanks because you healed like
Podemos esperar
50 damage on your Pharaoh. If you were healing your tanks, you would have gotten res, and there was like a 4-man res there. Oh,
Que se meta alguien, que se meta alguien, que se meta alguien.
and all your teammates kind of just gotta jump in.
Voy a morir, por esperar.
Oh, you were so lucky that McCree didn't kill you.
Muy bueno, David.
Kind of came in a little bit to the point res, but that's alright.
Me enteró.
Whenever Pharaoh was alting there, just
Necesito
have her
ayuda.
communicate to the diva, be like, alright, just matrix in front of me. That way she can't die while she's channeling her ult. Because a full duration, Pharaoh ult does like insane amounts of damage.
Muerto. El Madrid es buenísimo, tío. Mira a todos los tíos a la puta cabeza.
Me ha matado.
No voy a pillar a Reinhardt para llegar más rápido, pero... no puedo.
No, me ha pillado.
Hay que pillar.
That's alright.
Se ha partido.
Me ha pillado un tercer tanque.
Apágame la luz.
Speed up a little bit here.
Coñazo de pavo.
Yo
Llevamos un montón de counters para Reujo ahora.
So, I don't know about this team comp. If you are going to play something weird like this, you kind of have to play like really differently, especially if they have a Rhine. So like the things you want to do in this comp, if you don't have a Rhine, is basically sit Hog up in this room. Sometimes you have the Diva with him just to protect him so he can get a hook, and you just try to get a pick right here. You do try to get your soldier off on the high ground. You just try to split things up. You don't want to like group up because then Ryan will just get huge value out of his shield. If Ryan's over here protecting his team, he's going to be holding the shield this way. Soldier can shoot him in his open, exposed area. You just really want the team to be split. But you want to be playing smart when you're split.
He hecho la velocidad de Reaper y me quería decir la velocidad.
You don't want to just get split up and caught. So this is good. Yeah, you have Hog in this room and you have Soldier. You have him on the high ground usually. You don't have him on the point.
los pillo por detrás.
You try to set up crossfires. So say if the Ryan's holding shield here, you'll send people around here to the left side to shoot him in the back, and then you'll still have people shooting him in the front so he can't hold the shield, and then he gets super caught out and you can just kill him for free.
No, pues me quedo un poco de daño y me voy. Vale, lo pillamos el punto rápido.
Sí,
vamos
sí,
por
sí,
esto.
están echando para atrás. Están echando para
Vale.
atrás. Quédate tú mirando si viene alguien por izquierda cuando te quedes conmigo, David.
Ups, se re por el bug.
Te he curado, dame daño. Así puedo.
Vida, 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 vida.
No tienen escudo, por lo menos no del Reinhardt.
Be looking to stick with my tanks here a little bit.
Estáis todos denegados,
Rojo detrás, rojo detrás.
Trying to heal my Hog here.
Me punto cada.
Estoy muerto.
Me ha matado Madrid. Estaba ahí.
I'll go back and talk about this. Oh, I went back way too fucking far.
No tienen escudo, por lo menos no veo el Reinhardt.
Alright. Go back here.
Vida, vida, vida.
Actually, I'll go back a little bit. So I want to talk about this. Alright. So what you want to do as a team is have people maintaining this room, have Soldier here. It's fine. But whenever they have Rhine, you want to give up ground. So you want to have your Lucio speeding you guys back so you can give up a bit of ground, and you want to break their shield. Because you don't have shield to hide behind.
Quédate tú mirando si viene alguien por izquierda cuando te quedes conmigo, David.
Right here, you keep looking as Mercy. You need to be looking at your team. You're sitting here looking at this wall. Sure, you might be looking over here at the left side, but Soldier isn't really going to get flanked, and if he does, then he can usually deal with it by just swinging around the pillar. But you need to be looking over here because this ends up costing you guys. Looking over here at your team.
Ups,
You look over here and you can't see your teammates and what HP they're at.
sorry por el bug.
Still can't see all of them. Ryan's already in the room, so you don't have vision of all the people on your team.
Estoy curado, dame daño.
Still looking at this wall. And then, look, you see for a split second, your D.Va is critical HP.
Vida, vida.
Mech's gone. You haven't even looked over here and seen that the D.Va's mech is gone. You need to be over here healing the D.Va because they have a Ryan soaking all their shield, all the damage with his shield. D.Va is like half the time probably soaking it with her face, and like half the time soaking it with Matrix. So you need to be actively healing her as the main healer if you aren't going to be using Ryan. And by the time you've already looked over here, Mech's already gone and they're free to walk in.
No tienen escudo, por lo menos no veo el Reinhardt.
Your team can only do so much whenever their front line is down, and whenever D.Va doesn't have her mech, she just gets run over. Because then Hog can just walk in here for free. D.Va doesn't have her Matrix to eat any of the poke or the grenades coming in. Ryan just charges in, and your team is just collapsed on because their one front line that was actually holding the Ryan back is now gone. Soldier can sit up here and poke all he wants, but now there's so many people shooting at him. There's someone over here, someone over here, someone over here, someone over here. He can only focus like one at a time, and whenever you get into this like major crossfire, you need Matrix to help your team.
Reinhardt muy bajo.
Estáis todos denegados,
Rojo atrás, rojo atrás.
Reinhardt muerto. Bien tocada.
So your team just ends up getting run over, basically.
Estoy muerto.
Toma, toma. Estaba detrás, Magri.
Contesta lo que puedas, Mike, y ya está.
Yo estoy también, yo estoy también. Me han dormido. Yo un poco yo estoy.
Llego casi con ulti.
No vayas, no vayas.
Vale,
no
vale.
vayas, voy para atrás.
So part of being the main healer is knowing where to position and like when people are going to be taking damage. So like your D.Va who was in there, used to be like, okay, they're starting to push in, I need to be on my D.Va healing her actively.
Yo.
And the soldier that's sitting in the back, if he gets poked for some reason, he can just put his health kit down. There's a mega right beside him. He should be fine. You don't need to be pocketing him all the time.
Tengo 4 escudo de Reinhardt.
Vale. ¿Dónde está Reinhardt?
See, it plays differently if you have an Ana and Mercy than if you have Mercy Lucio.
Reinhardt sin escudo.
Tengo ulti.
No te puedo curar ahí.
No sé si me han visto ya, pero bueno.
I'd be trying to actively push the people top left. Yeah, you got melted. But looking to use the D.Va to push people top left. Because their hit scan is just going to set up on that top left, and they're not going to be able to do anything. I don't know if I agree with that, Rez.
Ahora.
Usually with Rez, one thing you want to do is be like, okay, I'm going to press tab and I'm going to see what ults do the people that I'm going to Rez have. If your soldier has tac visor and they don't have like a Ryan shield to block any of it, then I'd be like, okay, maybe if the fight's close and like if they're one down or something, then I'll Rez it. But just Rezzing a soldier randomly in a team fight whenever he doesn't have ult or your team doesn't really have any pressure, just it's kind of wasting res. But if you have like 2 tanks down or something, they don't need to have res. But if you think you're going to have numbers and win the fight because of it, then you can res. Should wait up here.
Voy a ir yo por izquierda.
Tell your Lucio to speed people in. You can all walk top left together as well.
Nos han goleado. No podemos
They have a May to block you off, but you can walk together
Ahora.
top left and push their hit scan off.
Toca alguien, toco yo.
This is good, now you have top control.
Mercy a una.
Muerta. Magri muerto. Ana muerta.
Reinhardt a uno.
Muerto. Me he muerto. Buena, buena, buena.
RCA porque moría.
Vale, debajo muerto.
Vámonos de aquí.
Sí, sí, sí. Espera, déjame curarme.
Part of working as a team is working with each other on positioning things. So like, whenever you're playing Mercy, the soldier shouldn't have dropped right there. You can drop, it's fine, but you want him to be there so that you can like jump back to him whenever you've dropped onto the point to do your ult or to do healing or whatever. So you can just like tell him like, please stay up here, I'll go to the point to get the res, you just stay up here.
Arriba.
Tira, tira.
Messi está tocada. El punto. Joder, me ha tirado la ulti y va a jugar solo.
Coloso, asómame. Nada.
You guys kind of got ran over again. I can talk a little bit about it. Go back.
Alex y yo.
Hive no.
So right here, he channels High Noon. Your diva first should have flown up and matrixed in his face. You can knock him off high ground. You can also just sit there and eat his ult.
Una arriba.
Mira, mira.
Then you get May ulted. Your team all spreads out, so you can, like, you're more likely to get picked here.
Messi está tocada.
So you have like a Reaper over here, Lucio's like somewhere on the point, Diva's somewhere on the point. Your team is completely split up. It's okay if your Reaper is like split up, but your whole team is split up, so your whole team's super vulnerable. You want to be looking to group here.
Me ha tirado la ulti rojo a mí solo.
You end up getting flanked and
Nada. Estoy muerto.
Ah, wow. Vaya el 2.0, wow.
Uf, no llevo ni de coña.
Buah, me gusta.
Tenía casi.
move forward to this next round.
Sí, es muy poco.
Aquí no solamente pillo a Juanma y a Javi.
Sí, yo creo que se han pasado.
Alright.
Ahora hace que el Lucio no tenga que-
Pero cuidado por si
This is a bit more standard. This is good.
Para lo que lo digo, bueno. Estaba atento a salir por donde se veían. Están yendo
Javi
derecha.
asoma por detrás. Me muero.
¿Dónde?
That feels bad, man. I don't know why you Guardian Angel though.
En Javi y ha cruzado una esquina.
Nada, muerto.
So you probably just tell your team to just walk away from this or just jump off. There's no way they win the fight without having a main healer there.
¿No quieres que contestemos para ganar tiempo?
It's pretty much like inevitable they're going to lose the fight and they end up just dying and feeding ult charge.
Falla mío, sorry.
No.
Me comí una esquina con el guardián.
Cuidado, no os pille rojo, ¿qué? Todos detrás de mí.
Media a la izquierda.
Sí. Joder, tío. Te la
You want to speed boost and walk in as a team, and if your Ryan goes to charge, you can just tell your Diva, alright, hold Matrix, and Ryan won't get hit by anything.
Te la ha comido.
Because you can just like eat whatever's getting shot at him.
Aquí hay uno muy bueno.
necesito vida, necesito vida, vida.
And then you just focus on collapsing on a target, like, as a group. So say, like, your Ryan will push forward, and then your Hog and Diva will walk, and then you can just, like, speed boost onto someone, and you just, like, jump on them and just insta-kill them. And then you just look to do that, and because your team is so tanky with Ryan, Diva, and Hog, like, you just have, like, giant health pools, and that you can't really get bursted.
Main detrás, main detrás, main.
And you just look to, like, kill targets as a group.
Nope.
Your soldier was way too far pushed up. He needs to be, like, with you in the group.
Estoy muerto.
Yeah, this is what happens whenever you have a failed early push, so like your team all pushed in and they all died, because you died early on, they end up getting ults like way before you, and so you end up fighting like a deficit, and then that second fight you go for, they end up getting ults way sooner than you do, and it just swings the round in their favor. And then it gives time for like the third fight. The rest of the people who didn't get ult off in the second fight are now going to have it in the third fight. And you guys are just like halfway there, if not like getting close to it, so
El que quede ahí,
it ends up snowballing on itself where every fight they just keep getting more ults because they keep winning and using their ults to keep ahead.
pura coloso, ¿no?
¿Los dos tienen ultis o no?
Yo es que ya tengo red, prefiero cubrir lo que le queda a Mike.
And as Mercy, the thing you can do is dry push with your team, so you walk in as a unit and be like, alright, we're not using any ults this fight, don't worry, if we get hit by shit, I'm just going to play back, play safe, and whenever they start to use their ults, you all just walk towards each other, die in the same spot, no res after, and then we can use ults after I'm done resing.
Pues go.
¿Para adentro? ¿A saco?
Medio está a vuestra izquierda, lleva un headshot, lleva
The
dos.
point is, alright, we're going to lose this fight because they're going to be using ults.
No sé si la tendrá uno.
That's okay.
LOL, mierda, creía que estaba... Intentar tirar ese Reinhardt o algo, nada. Creía que estaba fuera.
Unlucky.
Vaya Russian Visor. Que en cuanto he visto que no había Reinhardt...
¿Cómo?
Me han pillado esperando para recear.
So This actually wasn't that bad to do on Mercy, but
Vale.
Muy buena.
Go.
Pues go.
¿Pa dentro?
I think standing still in this game is probably one of the worst things you can do.
Niño está
Like, you
rápido.
almost never want to be standing still, because there's so many skill shots in this game that can insta-kill you, you can get headshot instantly. Like, you just almost never want to be standing still. Even if you're in, like, a spot like this, just be strafing, like, W, or ADing, rather. Spamming AD. Because you don't know where the hog is. You just want to be, like, looking around. You see, like, okay, don't get a good res here. Okay, I'm going to have a good res here.
La que estaba fuera.
Unlucky.
And then you just stand here, you just stand still. Out in the open I may add you, so like, anyone right here can see you, and they do end up just walking by and seeing you, so they'd probably just called you out, and then the hog coming back is like, okay, there's a Mercy just standing here, not moving. Their team probably just called you out, hey, Mercy's looking for a res, she's walking on, she's near White Room, just go hook her. And then, because you were standing still, you made it super easy for this guy to get a hook.
¿Cómo?
Me han pillado esperando para recear.
So working with Mercy and Lucio, you need to work on
Yo toco, pero
calling out which ults you want to use. So as Lucio, you communicate with the Mercy, alright, this fight we're going to run in, we're going to use speed boost, we're going to walk in, we're going to die. You don't use your sound barrier on Lucio, you hold it. You go in, you die, you get rezzed. Then, if you need it to win the fight afterwards, you sound barrier right as you get rezzed, and everyone's full HP. Everyone gets a fat sound barrier, so they're all tanking damage, and you're not taking damage because you're all full HP. So it kills the shield. Your Mercy now has sound barrier, so she's like able to survive as well. And then you just like win a fight like super easily after that. Usually, because you can start using ults after the res, when everyone's full HP and you can fight together. But what ended up happening there was Lucio ended up ulting. You kind of wanted to res, then people got hit with shatter afterwards. People were out of position. You ended up dying, not getting the res off, and then the sound barrier was kind of wasted. You didn't get res off, and it didn't end up working.
Ahí tienes que meterte.
Ahí va.
LOL, ¿qué ha pasado? ¿Se habéis muerto los dos?
Pues que iba a coger la pared. Pero como ahora se mueve rápido me he despistado. Me he ido a la puta. Hashtag Neo Manos please.
Ya, muerto. Las dos putas partidas igual. De verdad.
So yeah, there's a lot to work on there, team-wise, with ult management, knowing, like, walking into a fight, knowing, alright, these are the ults we're going to use, we're not going to be using these until X happens. So, like, sometimes with Lucio, I'll tell, if I'm not playing Lucio, someone else is playing Lucio, but I usually play Lucio, I'll be like, okay, as Lucio, since, okay, we have Anna, Lucio, I'm going to be the one to keep my team safe if we get ulted. And sometimes it's Mercy's thing, so Lucio will go in, and Mercy will play safe, and she'll be like sitting back and being like, okay, if you guys get ulted, it's fine, I'll come in for the res. But sometimes with Lucio, you'll be like, alright, I need to play safe. If my team gets shattered, I need to be in a safe spot where I don't get shattered, and so I can sound barrier to protect them after they do get shattered, or Pharah ulted, Genji ulted, whatever it may be. And so like communicating that, being like, okay, Lucio, if our team starts to die, don't worry about using sound barrier. You can die, I will res after. Or be like, I don't have res yet. If they start to use ults, Lucio needs to be ulting. Or Diva needs to be holding Matrix so that we can actually, like, do that. Just like that simple communication of just being like, alright, you need to be doing this at this time to keep us safe. And then we'll be focusing on something else. Just like talking about that before you walk in so that whenever it does happen, people don't start panicking. People know, okay, this is the plan going in. And they can expect it to like be executed on, and then if it doesn't work, that's fine, you can practice that. But the communication is the thing that needs to be like always worked on. It's just like, okay, maybe the plan didn't work through, we didn't like mechanically outplay them, but like you can just like practice like sound burying or landing a hook that'll win the fight, but the communication needs to be happening so that like those plays can be executed on after. And that's about it.